Question 2 has to do with jobs, and we're going to begin this round of questioning with Mr. Ortiz-Pino. How can we get more jobs to New Mexico? Tell us what incentives you would use to encourage new employers to come, and address the diversity of the state as far as encouraging job growth.
I think implicit in the question is an assumption that I wouldn't necessarily make, and that is that we have to recruit in businesses from outside in order to create jobs. Part of our problem in New Mexico is that we're in a race to the bottom with other states. We're competing with states that are willing to give away all sorts of things, and so we've started giving away all sorts of things. In this recent legislative session, we passed a severance tax bond issue that included a cash payment to Hewlett-Packard for its willingness to locate in Rio Rancho. Not a bond, not underwriting, not helping share the risk, but a cash payment of $6 million. And when we said, why are we doing this when we're having to cut services for everybody? They said, well, because they're promising jobs. That's what I call a race to the bottom. I think our strategy is upside down. Instead of trying to lure these big companies in, and you know what happened when Motorola came in? When we were at the city, Lawrence and I watched Motorola come in, enticed in with industrial revenue bonds, and as soon as the market changed a little bit, or as soon as they found cheaper labor somewhere else, they were gone. That is a self-defeating policy, to try to lure big businesses in from outside. And I don't think we ought to be giving more and more incentives. We ought to break free from that. The best way to create economic development is to help local businessmen expand. If 1,000 local businessmen were encouraged to add one new job to their workforce, that would create more real growth and real economic health than luring in one company with promises of gifts.
Let me say something to all of you that I think is important to understand about this issue of jobs and job development. There is absolutely no question that small businesses make up the backbone of this country's economy, and that small businesses that employ people in Albuquerque and in New Mexico are important to the strength of the economy of the state. But my friends, we're not an island. New Mexico's economy doesn't just revolve around New Mexico. We're part of a global economy, and we need to get creative about how we grow the pie. How do we bring more jobs to New Mexico? And this is where Jerry and I disagree. You know, I believe that we need to actively be out there looking for opportunities to bring corporations to New Mexico to provide jobs for New Mexicans. You know, when I was at the city of Albuquerque, we brought in General Mills. General Mills employs a lot of people in this city. And quite frankly, General Mills just expanded their operation a couple of months ago. We have companies that have come into New Mexico that have invested in New Mexico, and we've helped them grow so that New Mexicans can have jobs. So let's be clear about this. When we talk about exporting our children out of state because we don't have jobs here in New Mexico, and then at the same time we want to talk about raising taxes and those sort of issues, we've got to make sure we're focused on what we want to do. We need to get more jobs and grow the pie in the state so we can have our children stay here. So I support going out there and recruiting companies and making sure that we grow the pie so we have more jobs here.
When you talk about business development, I think it's a mix. We have to go out and recruit business from across the country, especially when we talk about the new opportunities that exist. We talk about solar companies and others to come in. We're all competing for those same companies to come, whether it's ourselves, Arizona, Texas, other states across our country, and we need to be competitive. So there need to be something on the table. There has to be some tax breaks that need to be offered. But on the other hand, as a former small business owner, I know we also have to invest. Plus, women make up a good portion of those small businesses in our state. We have to see what we can do to offer assistance and help. And in fact, as I've traveled to other smaller communities across our state, and even in my own South Valley, what can we do to retain children, our kids, our young people as they go on to college? As I've said, there's opportunities, even for small communities. If you want to do business, we have the internet. People can start their small business and go and sell your wares, sell your services through the internet. And why can we not do that for many of our smaller communities so people don't have to leave? A lot of us do that. We do a lot of our jobs. Those are other things I think that we can bring to the table and share and educate our small communities, even locally here, as to how we can help. That's the role of state government, is to help our small businesses do their best and expand. It's not to start them up, no, because we already have the entrepreneurs, but it's what we put on the table to help these folks. That's what state government's role is. But it's also a combination between bringing business from outside to help and growing and maintaining our own. Thank you.
Well, I'm the only candidate running right now that is a businessman, a small businessman for the last 25 years. I've grown a business from 8 employees to 36 employees in a rural community. And I am also the one candidate that has created a better economy for a rural community and a whole district by creating infrastructure, human infrastructure, better schools, better education. We're also talking about infrastructure that industries can be able to take advantage of and move and create good paying jobs. But 7 years ago, I knew that our economy is going to be dealing with renewables. If you look at the world economy and seeing that in 15 to 18 years, we will be seeing a double of the consumption of energy around the world. The cost of your fuel, your gallon per gas, if you thought $4 was high, wait till it hits 10. And then what is our economy going to do? We have to be pushing for renewables. I am the sponsor of RETA, as I said in my opening, the Renewable Energy Transmission Authority. This is the way we're going to create great paying jobs, the jobs of tomorrow. If you want to keep your kids here in the state of New Mexico, we got to be looking at the products of tomorrow. Conservation products, renewable energy. This is our route. We have the resources, we have the assets. We have plenty of solar, wind, we have plenty of wind, a lot of sun. Let's capitalize on it. My grandfather once said, if you could bottle that wind, we can make money. You know what? We're going to make money. And New Mexico's future is in renewables. We're going to be a national leader.
Talking about being a small business person, when I was 18 years old, I had no money, I had no family, I just had a supportive community and an entrepreneurial spirit. I've been opening businesses in New Mexico for the last 20 years, whether they've been car washes, cellular businesses, or now as I stand before you today, helping build a successful small law firm with 33 employees. Small business is where it's at in New Mexico. And when we talk about economic incentives in New Mexico, why aren't we providing those economic incentives for our small business people? Why are we not doing that? That's where we need to focus. That will be the economic development that makes a difference, not just on the I-25 corridor, but in all 33 counties. That's the economic development that we have to embrace in this state. Let me tell you about a little project we're doing up in northern New Mexico, Cuesta, where Molycorp sold their mine to Chevron Technologies and Chevron Mining. And they said, we're going to make a lot of money on this molybdenum, and then the bottom fell out of the market. Hundreds of people in Cuesta, New Mexico, out of work. My law firm, our team, worked with UNM Taos Branch, the Village of Cuesta, Chevron Technologies, and Chevron Mining to develop a strategy, which we just rolled out about 10 days ago, to have the largest concentrated photovoltaic cell solar array in the country, right there in Cuesta, New Mexico. Rural New Mexico, where hundreds of employees will have an opportunity to work, earn a paycheck. And we've turned that over from the tailings pond from molybdenum. Great way to change a brownfield into jobs.